Very, very courageous 85-year-old. I'm not going to talk about how this dispatcher handled it because with over 3,000 comments, all have pretty much infuriated with this dispatcher. I think it has been spoken. But here's what happened to this 85-year-old woman. I don't understand the wording of East Idaho News in this particular video. It says that, you know, he threatened her, handcuffed her to a chair, and shot at her multiple times. I don't understand the wording there, saying that he shot at her multiple times. No. When you shoot at somebody, it basically means you didn't hit them. You shot in their direction. He shot this woman multiple times, to include in the stomach. So, she was justified in her killing the guy, but it's amazing. This woman is 85 years old. They believe he hit her in the head while she was sleeping in bed because there was blood on her pillow. So he takes her, drags her into the living room, and handcuffs her to a chair. And guess what she does? This guy, now deceased, her disabled son was, I guess, downstairs, and I guess didn't hear any of the shooting going on. She lay there, shot several times for 10 hours. So she's handcuffed to a chair. So they think, see what I'm saying? They think she was struck in the head as she was in her bed because of the blood on her pillow and the floor of her bedroom. Of course, by the time she's able to make a phone call, because after 10 hours pass, her disabled son, who was downstairs with the fan on, he comes upstairs and sees her laying on the floor, gives her a phone so she can call, 911, I guess because he could not. So this guy knows her. She doesn't know who he is because he's wearing a mask and whatnot. But apparently, she owned a gun and pawn store, and she's friends with gun clubs, so she's a good shot, thankfully for her, because as soon as he saw that gun, he took into shooting at her, but her 2 shots was enough. So basically, while she's handcuffed to the chair, she manages to drag herself, because what she does was really smart, because basically she doesn't really have any valuables, and this guy's going to kill her. He's got a silencer, and he's got all kinds of guns, and he probably would have killed her, but I don't think she had any valuables, and she was really angry. He was really angry because he found out that there was a son there, and he didn't tell her, and he's threatening to kill her, and putting a gun to her head, and all this other stuff. So she goes into the living room, or into her bedroom. She had a revolver under her pillow. So she drags herself and gets the gun and comes back into the living room and then hides it, you know, between the armrest and cushion of the couch next to where she was sitting just to wait to see what he would do next. And so he comes back in the living room. He's threatening to kill her. Well, so she had sent him downstairs, told him that there was a couple of safes down there, so that basically to give her some time to go get her gun. I can't imagine how long it took her to drag herself into one room, get the gun, and then come back. So that was just brilliant on her part. So then she was like, after he came back and threatened to kill her, I guess he didn't find anything. So she's like, okay, it's now or never. So she drew her gun, and of course he immediately emptied his gun into her. But she hit him with 2 shots, and that was it. So he shot her in the abdomen, leg, arm, and chest. You see what I'm saying? Why did the other news people, Idaho News or whatever, why did he shot at her? Why did he say it like that? Why did they say it like that? He didn't shoot at her. He emptied the gun into her body. Miracle, though, she laid there for 10 hours before her son came upstairs and saw her and gave her a phone so she could call, which I don't understand. I really don't understand that, because it sounds like he could talk, but I don't really know. I guess he has severe disabilities or whatever. I don't know. But I just know that it's a miracle she lived. So they decided not to press charges because obviously she, you know, it was justifiable. But can you imagine? So they said it was good for her that she had a firearm, or she'd probably be dead. Her and her son would probably be deceased. And just, you know, just to live that amount of time at her age with those kind of injuries is just wow, you know? The fact, what's really troublesome is that the prosecutors have to even, at this point, when this man had broken her house, had all these guns on her, and that they even had to consider whether or not they were going to prosecute her. Like, if somebody breaks into your house and is armed, and they say they're going to kill you, I think if they break into your... There's some places where people are being charged when people are breaking in their home because they're not armed. And it's like, okay, if somebody's breaking into your house in the middle of the night, you don't know what they have. I don't think that he had to have threatened her. I don't think he had to have made it known that he had a gun by putting it into her head and threatened to kill her with it. If somebody's breaking into your house in the middle of the night, whether or not they have a gun visible, whether or not they say they're going to kill you, that's a threat. But it's just the idea that they had to decide whether or not they're going to prosecute this woman. She's handcuffed to a chair. She's handcuffed to a chair. She had blood on her pillow. Like, somebody breaks into your house and handcuffs you to a chair. Why do they even have to consider on whether or not they have to prosecute? This is the madness. This is madness. But you will see cases in America where somebody broke in a house and they were unarmed and they were shot and killed and they faced charges. It's crazy. It's just crazy. And people need to advocate that, I'm sorry, if you're breaking into somebody's house, how are you supposed to know if they got a gun? How are you supposed to know if they have a gun? If they're not waving it, they don't have it in their hand at the time. If they got that on their body. If they're breaking into a house in the middle of the night, that's a threat. How's that not a threat? Anyways, but thankfully they figured it out that she had the right to defend herself.